the Total Drama Gen 2 cast. Here are my opinions going through each character from this generation, and before we get to the video, I'm gonna just say that obviously there are spoilers for Revenge of the Island, so... Oh, and there's also spoilers for All Stars. Alright, onto the video. Like the Gen 1 video, we're going in alphabetical order, so first up is Amaria. And when it comes to Amaria, I don't know if there's a lot I could say about her. At first, I didn't find myself interested in her character, but as time progressed, I felt like she became a decent character. Her moments with characters like Joe and Mike were pretty funny. Her hair being strong enough to withstand giant ice blocks is really funny, and impressive nonetheless. The thing I kind of don't like about Amaria is the way her run in Revenge ended. But as an overall character, Amaria is decent. Middle to high C tier. Next character, B. While he doesn't really talk at all, he is very valuable in terms of challenges. For every challenge he competed in, he played a key part. However, thanks to a certain character we'll get to later, his time was very short. Even so, B is around the same range as Amaria for me. Not bad, but not great. Which is kind of crazy because I normally like characters that are really good in challenges. Another middle to high C tier character. Next character, Brick. From an entertainment factor, he is pretty solid. Most notably, his mini rivalry with Joe. When interacting with each other, they would have some funny moments. As a team player, Brick is also solid there. He seems to be loyal, never leaving his teammates behind. Just an all-around solid character. Another thing when it comes to Brick is he did take some hits. Not on the same level as Trent and Island or Tyler in general, but he did take some damage. It would have been nice to see him get another season, but it is what it is. Overall, B tier character. Then we have Cameron, the bubble boy himself. He is a pretty entertaining character and his journey in Revenge of the Island was also really good. One of the smarter characters in the show and is definitely way more brain than brawn. His interactions with other characters like Mike, Zoe, and Joe were also pretty good. And speaking of which, the way he got back at Joe was nice. When it comes to Cameron, he's always thinking 2 steps ahead. A great character he was in Revenge, and he really deserved to go as far as he did. As for Cameron in All Stars, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't as great as his previous season. After helping Mike with his DID last season, surely he doesn't fully trust Mal, right? And when that's not happening, he's mostly having to deal with Sierra. A disaster if that was. At least Cameron got to do something on his own before getting eliminated due to a medical injury in which he had to be put back into a bubble. So much for the progression in Revenge, right? Still, Cameron is a pretty good character. In between middle to high B tier. Next character to talk about, Dakota. Like Amaria, Dakota as a character I wasn't interested in at first. She seemed to be more interested in posing for pictures rather than competing in challenges, which led to her very early exit. Then she came back to try and get more screen time, and she did, as an intern. Her time there as an intern was okay, and her moments with Sam were decent. Then things took a turn in her last 2 episodes. Going bald in 1 episode, having to rejoin after Amaria quit. Then she turned into a mutant thanks to toxic waste, and she's gone just like that. At least she has Sam. Other than that, Dakota's alright. C tier character. After that, we have Dawn. At first, I did not like this character. Didn't really find her entertaining. But looking at it now, she is a really funny character. She knows some stuff about other characters and be roasting them without actually roasting them.
You weren't held enough as a child.
Quite an R-word whisperer she is. Her communications with animals are also interesting. Although she didn't stay for long, her time there was pretty solid. For Dawn, low to middle B tier character. And then we have Joe, one of the more entertaining characters out of this cast. And she is an even better competitor. I found her mini rivalry with Brick to be pretty good, and her interactions with Lightning and Cameron were also nice. She was doing whatever she could to make moves and get farther in the game. The nicknames she had for other characters were also pretty funny. Revenge of the Island was a really great season for her. When it comes to Joe in All-Stars, I thought she was solid there. The same old Joe from Revenge, except she was going against veterans this time, so it was going to be a lot tougher. That, and she did manage to shoot one of her own teammates, so there's that. She got eliminated early in that season, but besides that, she is one of my favorite characters from this cast. S tier. Lightning. Also one of the more entertaining characters out of this cast. His interactions with anybody just makes him that funny. His catchphrase is fire. Shabam! I don't remember if anybody else has a catchphrase, but Lightning does it best. Out of any moments in Revenge of the Island, this was one of the funniest.
No! This ain't right! Man, I never kissed a Super Bowl ring!
And I've never kissed a guy.
Yeah, it's cool, dude. Lightning don't judge.
I know he didn't really do a lot as a competitor, mostly because he was taking damage, but even so, he was still pretty funny. His beef with Cameron near the end of Revenge was also entertaining. And it made for a great finale too, with it being Brain versus Brawn, David versus Goliath, that kind of thing. Also, in my opinion, I much prefer Lightning winning in Revenge over Cameron. Cameron's ending was good, don't get me wrong, but I just prefer Lightning winning. Lightning in All-Stars was just as funny. One of the more entertaining parts about All-Stars. Kind of a shame that he got voted out early, but it is what it is. Though he might not be smart enough to count to 7, he is smart enough to send Joe a pre-recorded message just in case she will regret voting him off. And overall, I think Lightning is an A to S tier character. He is that funny. The next character, Mike. When I watched this show back when it first aired, Mike was my favorite character out of the cast. But me right now does not have the same opinion. In terms of entertainment, Mike is just not that interesting. His moments with Cameron and Zoe are kind of okay, but other than that, there's not much I can say about Mike. In terms of his personalities, I'm indifferent on Chester. Svetlana's cool. I don't like Vito. Manitoba's alright. Mike in Revenge wasn't bad, just not that interesting. As for Mike in All-Stars, we saw more of Mal than we did of Mike. And Mal picked up where Mike left off by also not being that entertaining. And it didn't help that the people around Mal were somehow clueless. Well, maybe not all of them, but most of them. Overall, I just don't like Mike. D tier character. And one more thing, the way Mal's run ended in All-Stars, I'm not going to talk about it too much since DID is a very serious topic. But a reset button? I don't know about that. Next up, Sam. Another character I'm not too high on, but I'm not too low on either. Some of his lines being about gaming stuff, which are either decent or not that great. When he's not talking about video games, he's mostly interacting with Dakota, which I'll give him props for. Even when she's a mutant, Sam still loves her. He made subpar progress in Revenge, but overall, he was alright. Wait, hold on a second. Wait, how did Sam get invited to All? He spent most of that season getting beaten up. There was no chance for Sam to develop. He just spent the entire season taking damage left and right.
Just gotta catch my breath.
And the one time he actually does something was in the eating challenge. Sounds more fitting for someone who should have been an all-star but wasn't. But for the most part, Sam didn't do much. Overall, he is a middle to low C tier character. And then there's Scott, my favorite character out of this cast. Not only because of how he could be comical at times, but because of how he played the game. Throwing challenges to get the other team to think they are better than what they actually are. Though that didn't work entirely, he did get rid of some key players that could be seen as a threat to him, like B and Dawn. He played his role and did what he could do as an antagonist. Him blackmailing Mike, that was wild. But when Scott was not trying to be villainous, he was mostly dealing with Fang. Their beef was entertaining to see. After eliminating Mike, Scott didn't really do much for the rest of the season. He tried to go for Zoe next, but that did not work out for him. And his season would end in a body cast. Well, at least it would have if Fang didn't show up to get his get back and use him up like a chew toy. He would then be put in a trauma chair and be laughed at it by other contestants for how he acted on the season. which I thought was foul. It was a miracle for Scott to be alive, let alone make a full recovery. And speaking of All-Stars, Scott felt like a different character there. He was villainous for a bit, then became goofy, which I don't mind too much since I thought that Scott was a funny character in All-Stars. He even got to be in a relationship with Courtney, though that didn't last long. He also went from throwing challenges in Revenge to actually being terrible at challenges in All-Stars. He would also develop galophobia thanks to whatever Fang did to him. And something I forgot to mention is that Scott will be getting punched around this season. The more I look into it, the more I wonder, how did this guy make it to the Final Four in All-Stars? In my opinion, he made up for it with his comedy. Overall, I appreciate Scott the most out of this cast, S-tier character. The second to last character of this cast, Stacy. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about her. She is nowhere near as comical as other characters. I doubt that she's mean-spirited, but that is the only good thing I can say about her. But other than that, she is nowhere near as interesting as the rest of the cast, though I will say she did not deserve to go bald. At best, she is a D-tier character, but in my opinion, she is the least interesting character out of this cast, F-tier. And last but not least, Zoe. She is an interesting character. Half of her time in Revenge was dealing with Mike and a bit of Amaria. Wasn't really anything too up or down to me. She wasn't really seen as much of a threat until Mike got voted off. Then Zoe turned a second gear. She made sure to take down Scott and succeeded. The near end of Zoe in Revenge was solid. It's what made her a powerhouse, and she continued that in All-Stars, winning challenge after challenge for the heroic hamsters. A powerhouse she was. One thing that bothers me about Zoe in All-Stars is that she could not tell that Mike wasn't acting like Mike. It would be fine if Zoe was a bit oblivious, but the fact that she was so blind to what Mal was doing was just flat out ridiculous.
I thought Mike couldn't access his other personalities anymore. At least he didn't turn into that Mal character.
Overall, Zoe's not a bad character, but she isn't great either, C tier. And that is my opinion on each character of the Gen 2 cast. This cast has its ups and downs, but it's cool. At some points, I will talk about my opinions on the Gen 3 cast of Total Drama, but that'll take time. But besides that, take care.